Good day, friends, brothers and sisters. My name is Ryan Francis Morales from Belfast, Northern Ireland, and welcome to Pathways of Hope. Our passage for today is taken from the Gospel of Luke. Let me read the passage to you. Now, the tax collectors and sinners were all gathering around to hear Jesus. But the Pharisees and the teachers of the law muttered, "This man welcomes sinners and eats with them." Jesus told them this parable. There was a man who had two sons. The younger one said to his father, "Father, give me my share of the estate." So he divided his property between them. Not long after that, the younger son got together all he had, set off for a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. After he spent everything, there was a severe famine in the whole country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country, who sent him to his fields to feed pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. When he came to his senses, he said, "How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare, and here I am starving to death. I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.' So he got up and went to his father. But while he was a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. The son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his servants, 'Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.' So they began to celebrate. Meanwhile, his older son in the field. When he came near to the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called one of his servants and asked him what was going on. 'Your brother has come,' he replied, 'and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound.' The older brother became angry and refused to go in. So his father went out and pleaded with him. But he answered his father, 'Look, all these years I have been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never gave me even a young goat so that I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours has squandered your property with prostitutes, comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him.' 'My son,' the father said, 'you have always been with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad because the brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and he is found.'" This is a very familiar passage to many of us. Now let us look at two things in this passage. The parable of the prodigal son is a story of a son who decided to head out on his own, far from his father's house and life, and to live a life of luxury and sin. When hard times came, he had to work as a pig keeper, a job which is considered unclean, physically and ritually for the Jews. Then he realized he can go back to his father to be his servant, no longer his son. The line used in this translation is when he came to his senses. But in the original translation, I think we see something very significant, more significant even than just coming to one's senses. The closer translation says, when he came to himself. This implies that he was living a life of sin. He was not himself. He was living in a state he was not originally supposed to be in, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Coming back to himself, he realized his error. Sin changes us. We are made in God's image, and so we are, by nature, good and must be close to Him. But when we sin, we turn away from God and we are separated from what we are truly supposed to be. This season of Lent is a time for us to come to ourselves, to realize, as the Son did, that we are in a sorry state and we are supposed to come back to God. The second point is the Father's reaction to the Son's return. One can imagine a father waiting eagerly for his son to come back, not knowing if he ever will, but still expecting. And when he does, he runs out to greet him. How often do we fear coming back to God after we sin? It's natural to fear someone we offended, particularly if we are absolutely and inexcusably in the wrong. And even more so if the one we offended is an almighty and benevolent being. We fear that if he only knew the gravity of our sins, he will reject us. The thing is, he does know our sinfulness. And he is the Father who eagerly expects us to return to him and who runs to us in joy when we do so. He is the Father who clothes us with grace when we deserve shame and who treats us as sons and daughters when we ought to be slaves. He is a Father who waits eagerly for all of us to return to him, no matter how sinful we are. He even goes out to meet us, as he went out to meet the younger brother when he came back, and the older brother when he refused to go in. He is a Father who eagerly waits our return. The only thing we do is we decide to come back to him. So today, let us come to ourselves, return to God, and be not afraid, for he eagerly awaits us. If you have been blessed by this short reflection, please like and share Pathways of Hope to your friends and loved ones. Once again, my name is Ryan Morales. Thank you and have a blessed day.